The less proficient you are in a language, the more you use your partner's words. Is that stealing? No, it's actually an effective strategy that helps bilingual speakers keep the conversation smooth. And sometimes it can even support learning a new language. So whether you are a bilingual who switches between two languages every day, or someone just starting to learn a new one, keep watching. You might discover how this coping strategy shapes your conversations and why it works so well. Hello, this is Lumi Center. I'm Jiajia. If you watched our last video, you might remember that speakers adjust their word choices depending on who they are talking to. Native speakers often entrain more when speaking with bilingual partners because reusing the same words helps maintain understanding. It's a cooperative strategy that I'll use your word so we don't get confused. But as a bilingual, that got me thinking, what about bilinguals themselves? What happens when we are the ones doing the talking? If my partner is adjusting their words to help me understand, then what do? Do bilingual speakers also engage some control process? And if I'm not very proficient, how do I keep the conversation flowing? With these questions in mind, let me take you through my journey of exploring bilingual lexical entrainment behaviors. This whole idea began in a meeting with my advisors. We were talking about communication with young children and how adults often shift their word choices to match the child's wording, which is the pattern we introduced last time, a kind of entrainment that makes the conversation easier for the child. And that moment made me pause. If adults naturally entrain more to help children, what happens in adult bilingual communication, especially for bilinguals who are less proficient? After searching the literature, I realized that we know a lot about what happens when bilinguals are the partner when someone else is trying to adapt to them. I noticed that most of them focused on how native speakers adapt when talking to a bilingual partner, but very few examined what bilinguals themselves do during entrainment when they are the ones selecting the words. Do bilingual speakers entrain more or less? Is there a control mechanism guiding their choices? How do they navigate word selection when juggling two languages? These questions led me to take a closer, more detailed look at bilingual lexical entrainment behavior. To explore this, I replicate the classic picture matching and naming task from Brannigan and colleagues in 2011, and I made a few changes. First, I recruited 100 English bilinguals who spoke English and another language, such as Spanish, Mandarin, Korean, and many others. And their English proficiency varied. Some spoke English as their native language, others spoke English as their second language. Some were balanced bilinguals proficient in both languages, and some were clearly dominant in either English or their other language. Because of this diversity, simply labeling people as beginner, intermediate, or advanced, or calling them native versus non-native wasn't enough. Instead, I measured their proficiency in each language and calculated their relative proficiency. That is, their English proficiency relative to their other language. This mattered because even if someone is proficient in both languages, their daily use, comfort level, and dominant language tell us a lot about how much cognitive effort they might exert in conversation and how much control they may engage during entrainment. Across the participants, a clear pattern emerged. Bilinguals who were less proficient in English entrained more. This showed that entrainment isn't just something that happens to bilinguals when others adjust to them. It's also something bilinguals themselves actively do when it's their turn to speak. So why does this happen? In earlier videos, we talked about two major explanations for entrainment, which are automatic processing and consciously coordinated control. Automatic processing happens for everyone. You hear a word, it becomes active in your mind, and it's simply easier to reuse it than to search for an alternative. But entrainment also reflects a conscious control process where bilingual speakers evaluate and decide whether to follow their partner's wording. And for less proficient bilinguals, That reasoning might sound like, my partner is more proficient, so their word is probably the correct one. Or, I'm not confident about the word I know, so I'll just reuse theirs. And here's what makes the finding especially interesting. Sometimes bilinguals will even give up a more common word and choose the partner's less common or unfamiliar term, even when the word is new, harder to pronounce, or not the word they are naturally use. This brings us to a new idea about entrainment. Entrainment may serve as a strategy for less proficient bilinguals to learn and practice unfamiliar words. In a way, entrainment resembles a tiny language learning loop. You hear a word in context, you reuse it immediately, and you reinforce it through production. Although we need more research to fully establish the connection, the pattern suggests a powerful possibility. If you intentionally pay attention to the words your partners use, you can absorb new vocabulary faster and practice right away in conversation. In that sense, entrainment becomes not only a communication tool, but also a strategic method for language learning. So the next time you find yourself reusing your partner's words in a second language, it's your bilingual mind doing something remarkably smart. Have you ever noticed yourself picking up someone else's words when speaking in your second language? Did it help you? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help another bilingual learner feel understood. And I hope this video encourages you to embrace your bilingual journey with curiosity and confidence. This is Lumi Center, bring you the science behind language. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going.